I want to start off this video by first saying fuck everybody that cheered for Kevin Durant getting injured. And fuck anybody that defended the people that cheered for Kevin Durant getting injured. That behavior is absolutely inexcusable, and if you were one of the Raptors fans or just a Warrior hater that was happy to see that happen, I would like to provide you my biggest fuck you. So with that out of the way, in Game 5 a few nights ago, Kevin Durant finally played in this year's finals. Durant played 11 minutes and scored 11 points before his Achilles ruptured. Now this was brutal to watch. Whether you hate KD or love him, seeing an all-time great player go down with a career-altering injury is never fun to see. It reminds me of when I saw Kobe Bryant tear his Achilles. It's never something you want to see as a fan of the game or just as a decent fucking human being. I personally was rooting for the Raptors. Ever since Durant made his decision, I've been rooting against the Warriors in the finals, obviously to no avail. But like I said, you should never root for anyone to get hurt. But pretty soon after that injury happened, I noticed something. I noticed the hypocrisy of the reaction around Durant's injury, both by fans and the media. The hypocrisy being in the criticism of Derrick Rose and Kawhi Leonard when they felt they were not ready, versus the criticism of the Golden State Warriors for playing Kevin Durant. So let's go over that.
Rebound. Save. Absolutely incredibly.
Before we start this video, I want to talk about this video's sponsor, my podcast. Me and Mojo99 have started a podcast called the Hoopscast. We will be posting an hour-long episode every week or two, and our first episode will be out soon, potentially later tomorrow, because first episode will be our reaction to the NBA Finals right after they happen. The link to the podcast channel will be in the description and in the pinned comment below and in a card right here. So if you want to check out that podcast, please do so. We will be on more platforms soon, working out that at the moment. But with that out of the way, let's move on to the video.
I think a lot of people don't understand that when I sit out, it's not because of this year. I'm thinking about long term. I don't want to be in my meetings all sore or be at my son's graduation all sore just because of something I did in the past. Take issue with what he said?
Of course I do. That was stupid. Derrick Rose is a great player. He's a great kid. Love his mom. That was stupid. You know, Ernie, we're so blessed. I limp around, but I go home to a big old mansion. There's people who work harder than Derrick Rose who go home to a shack. There are consequences to what we do for a living. We got the best life in the world. Pros and cons to what we do for a living. Derrick Rose is making $20 million a year. He got a couple bad knees. That's disrespectful to maids, people who in the army, who go out and kill people and get killed, got no arms and no legs. And listen, as much as I like Derrick Rose, that was just flat out stupid.
You've been asking these guys all morning if there's somebody to blame.
Yes.
Yes, there is somebody to blame. The Golden State Warriors for putting KD out there. Listen, that was not right. You know, if you go back and look at the last 2 weeks, the article comes out, KD's worst nightmare, with the Warriors are winning without him. Then you come out, you read the articles, the Warriors are really unhappy with KD won't risk his Achilles. They're frustrated with KD. Now this man has to be feeling some type of way. So I blame the Warriors for KD getting hurt, and I don't care what they say about it. They shouldn't have put that man out there. And you know how I know it? Because he blew out his Achilles.
Wow. So, Charles, let me pick up on that. It's infinitely more important than anything else I was going to ask you. If Durant wants to go out there and play for his teammates, you think someone should have stopped him? I just want to make sure I understand where you're coming from.
I don't think you can ever leave it up to a player, because players always want to play. But I think if you ask any rational player, Damon, Jalen Rose, Jay Williams, to put a guy who hadn't played basketball in over a month into Game 5 of the finals and had some type of move around the day before, I don't think that's fair to that man. And you saw the results. It's just not fair. It's Game 5 of the World Championship. He hasn't played real basketball in a month. That's unfair to put him in that situation. And the proof is in the pudding, plain and simple.
Being a Bulls fan, I remember what happened with Derrick Rose pretty vividly. As Derrick Rose was recovering from his ACL tear, he started shooting around at games towards the end of the season as he was cleared for practice. Because of this, a lot of criticism came Rose's way because he was going to sit out for the playoffs, even though from the outside looking in, he looked ready. This led to Derrick Rose's response that Charles Barkley reacted to in the second clip. So let me ask you this, if it's unfair for the Warriors to ask Durant to play after 1 month, as Charles Barkley said in the second clip I showed you, how is it fair for the Bulls to ask Derrick Rose to play after being out for over a year? It is so damn hypocritical of Charles Barkley, because let's say the script is flipped. Let's say Kevin Durant never plays in the finals and gets a bunch of heat for it, and he has a similar response to what Derrick Rose had. I guarantee you Charles Barkley would have a similar response to what he did to Derrick Rose. But because of the hindsight, knowing that Kevin Durant tears his Achilles because he plays, he can confidently call out the Warriors for playing him, even though he himself would have made the same call, even though what happened is completely contradictory to that logic. So Derrick Rose sat and then didn't get hurt after missing basketball for a year, gets criticized. Kevin Durant is forced to play, then Charles Barkley criticizes the Golden State Warriors. Pretty damn hypocritical to me. Let's move on to Kawhi Leonard.
What part of Kawhi Leonard's behavior in the last year and every story that's come out in the last several weeks says anything about this dude having any of the qualities that a leader is supposed to have? You don't talk, you don't defend yourself. Now you got stories coming out that you're coming off as an obnoxious diva. You don't want to go play with LeBron because you want to be the top dog. You are the top dog for a team and an organization that has done really well for many, many years, that you don't have the respect and you have the audacity to try to ignore, and you continue to cash those $18 million checks. I'm so over this dude. The city of San Antonio is over this dude. You can go as soon as they get whatever they want for you, but if you think you're just gonna walk out of there and get your way because you've thrown this little spoiled hissy fit and become one of the most unlikable characters, I've never seen a heel turn like this in a way that is not enjoyable. Like, you are no longer a person I root for. You are someone who has just shown every quality of a spoiled, entitled person, and you don't even have the strength to speak for yourself.
This clip was Michelle Beadle's reaction to Kawhi Leonard's trade request after he was sitting out with an injury for over a year, minus 9 games. The reason Kawhi chose to sit out was because he felt that he was too hurt to play. The Spurs, however, had cleared him and were pressuring him to return. This disagreement led to the turmoil between Kawhi and the Spurs front office. Michelle is basically calling Kawhi a diva for not wanting to risk his body, and the fact that he didn't want to play for an organization that was pressuring him to play through injury. Once again, Kawhi very easily could have played, gotten hurt, but avoided all of this controversy. But instead, he knew how his body felt and he didn't play. And had he played, gotten hurt, then suddenly the San Antonio Spurs would be the ones being criticized. The Spurs had a problem with the fact that he didn't want to play when he felt he was hurt, and that's why Kawhi is now a Toronto Raptor. To call Kawhi a diva over him not wanting to play hurt, leading to this whole thing, is so disrespectful. Kawhi knew and felt that he was not ready, and Michelle, the Spurs, and every NBA fan should have respected that. The only positive outcome that I can see coming from this Kevin Durant injury is hopefully from now on, people will respect players sitting out with injury a little bit more. Now, in no way do I want this to come off as me criticizing Kevin Durant for playing, because I'm definitely not doing that. If Durant felt he was ready, it was his decision. The Warriors are still to blame because, like Charles Barkley said in the second clip, most players will want to play even if they are hurt. But all that I want to come from this video is an emphasis on allowing players to sit out when they feel injured. Let them sit and do not criticize them. And I'm not trying to act holier than thou. I didn't have a strong opinion on the Kawhi Leonard situation. I think, at least at the time, I was a little bit more on the Spurs side than the Kawhi side, as were most people. But the Derrick Rose situation, I definitely wanted Rose to play. I was very frustrated that he didn't play at the time. And I know that many Chicago Bulls fans were also not happy about it. Some went as far as to boo him. I wasn't that mad about it, but I definitely wanted him to play. play. So I'm hoping that this Durant injury and this video will teach NBA fans and media that you should not hate players for sitting out when they're not ready to play yet. You shouldn't get mad at players for choosing not to risk their career, risk their money, risk their future, risk their ability to walk at their child's graduation. Kawhi had every right to sit out, and he had every right to be mad at the Spurs for pressuring him to start playing. And Derrick Rose had every right to sit out when he felt he wasn't ready. Respect the player's decisions, period. That's the end of this video. Please be sure to check out the Hoopscast. The link will be in the description, and I said it already. Please be sure to like and subscribe for more NBA content like this, and cue the outro music.